And today, it's Wednesday. Happy hump day, by the way. We're here today with our partners here at PraDa Law. I love this show because I get to, hang out with the partners here at PraDa Law. And I want to remind everyone of that number on the screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The consultation will be free. Let's go ahead and introduce our partners here. First up, we have Daniel Silver.
Thanks, Jackie. You're hanging with the partners, you might learn something.
That's right. I always learn something with you guys. And of course, Alexis Garcia.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this lovely Wednesday.
That's right. And Jennifer Pratt.
Happy hump day. Super happy to be here. Thank you, Jackie.
Once again, that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. The consultation will be free. If you are watching us from Facebook, YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, like, and share this program because you never know who might benefit from this information. Jennifer, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away.
And I don't want to take it away for too long because I have been chastised this week that I talk too much.
Monday was the Jenny show.
Monday was the Jenny show, and I'm going to try to avoid that. But making a headway into Wednesday today, we are still talking about some of the topics that we touched on Monday, which was basically that nearly half of Americans across the country have been shown that they have been affected somehow financially, particularly because of COVID. Whether it's because they lost their jobs or their income has reduced or just everything around them is closing and it's just a completely different world than where we were even a year ago. COVID has affected so many people, especially financially. So on today's show, I want to talk to Attorney Garcia about some of the options. Yes, that includes bankruptcy, but there's also loss mitigation. There's also loan modifications. We touched briefly on those on Monday. And we have Attorney Silver here today because he's going to sprinkle in some family law and how the state of the financial world here in this country and in the state of Florida has also affected finances in divorce cases, whether it's alimony, child support, and what you can do right now if you're in that same situation. So let's start with the lovely Attorney Garcia. Attorney Garcia, we're reading these reports that people, more than 50% or nearly 50% of Americans have been affected financially because of COVID. I know we're seeing it day in, day out at the office. And we see everything from professionals to just blue-collar workers. So many people, they're losing income, losing their jobs. Yeah. But also we're seeing now as well the issue with the homes, the forbearances. Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing and some advice that you would tell, the folks that are watching and listening to us.
Well, I mean, first I'd like to start off by saying, bankruptcy has a negative mark on it. Individuals, I have a lot of people in my office, crying. It's really sad how they never thought they'd get here where they are. I just want to point out at this time, particularly right now, historically, we touched upon this on Monday, becoming ill and losing your job are the #1 reasons people go into bankruptcy, okay? That's what pushes them in. And we've got the perfect storm right now. We have both of them pushing people into bankruptcies, whether they became ill with COVID. For example, I have a client who came down with COVID and who was ill in July. She's still feeling fatigued and her breathing is still off, and I believe she had a negative test already, but it's still affecting her, And then so now that sickness has affected her work. She cuts hair. She can't get into the salon to cut hair. So it's on both aspects here. So we're seeing that. We're seeing individuals who've lost all their work. There's no money coming in. There's just unemployment, and now that's been reduced. And then I've had a lot of individuals who've come in and they had income almost $200,000 and now they're at $80,000. Well, to most people, $80,000 would be, a gift right now, but to this individual, $80,000 does not support the lifestyle they've had before. So what does that mean? That there's a bankruptcy option for all of these people, and I have another individual too, who he's around $90,000 now with 2 properties, but he can still file bankruptcy and he can still maintain both of those properties in a bankruptcy while getting rid of his unsecured debt and restructuring what he has. So we're seeing everything in our office now, and there's pretty much options for almost everybody.
Thank you, Attorney Garcia. 888-88-LEGAL, that's the number you need to call for your free consultation because we'd love to help you.
And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer on today's show, but I do want to touch very briefly on something that was, as Attorney Garcia was talking, and it's the obvious. I'm not the first person to say it. It's all over the news. The statistics show that what I'm about to say is true, is the number of people who have become very depressed as a count of this COVID situation, either because your finances are now in ruins, you've lost your relationship, as Attorney Silver will discuss, divorce filings are through the roof right now. And anyone that's contemplating to hurt themselves or commit suicide or anything like that, you know, that's not the answer. There are solutions. There are ways that people like us and therapists and professionals can help you. So just a quick word for anyone listening to us or watching us that feel like they're at the end of the rope, because as you were talking, Attorney Garcia, that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of those people that are going into your office and saying, like, I feel like my life is completely over because they've hit this, what they believe is a wall, which is bankruptcy. And I know
the opposite. It's a fresh start. That's how I like to tell individuals. Right. It's a fresh start. The Bankruptcy Code was written to give honest individuals who have fallen into a hard place in life a fresh start, a do-over, and that's where there is. It's not the end. It's a new beginning. So I know it's easier said than done, but like Attorney Pratt was saying, speak to somebody.
And the good thing about bankruptcy is that once you're done with it and you complete it, you're like a brand new baby. You're brand new, you're clean, you get rid of your debt, and you start fresh. Attorney Silver?
Yeah, I'd like to touch on something you said. We are seeing a lot of people being very sad and very depressed, and now more than ever, it's okay to get therapy. 20 years ago, people would look at, oh, you're in therapy? What's wrong with you? Yeah. And now there's no social stigma attached to it, and if anything, therapy is a safe place, perhaps therapy, even couples counseling. There's no shame in going into therapy, especially in family cases when you're deciding whether or not you're going to take the litigation approach or the therapeutic approach. There's no shame in going to therapy, and if you need therapy, get therapy.
Right. Thank you so much, Attorney Silver. That's great advice. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The number is free, so is that consultation.
Yeah, and that's why I've invited a therapist to come on our show in the next couple of weeks. I think this is a very important topic, and she's going to be helping us discuss not just the divorce issues, but also children's issues and just plain, health, mental health, period, and how it can be as easy and accessible as on a phone these days. Yeah. There's really no excuse.
And remember, in Florida, there is a psychotherapist patient privilege. So anything you're talking to about your therapist isn't going to be used against you in court. It's a safe space, and the legislature has made it as such.
Okay, well, we do have to take a quick break, but we will be right back. Thank you so very much. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. The show is live. Give us a call if you have any questions during the show. We'd love to take your questions. Stick around. We have more information when we get back. Thank you.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host for the show today. We've been talking family law, bankruptcy. We're definitely going to get back into that conversation, but I just want to remind everyone of that number on the screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call.
And before the break, we were talking about a little bit about mental health, and I didn't mean to, bring the atmosphere down or anything, but I think it's important, and I think it's important for people to know that they're not alone, and that Listen, I don't care how strong you are. We've all been struggling these last few months. It's been very tough and like borderline almost end of the world. So
pandemics are depressing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Mental health awareness was last week. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's you know, we're on topic.
I'm not too off, and so all right. With that being said, we're going to make headway back into bankruptcy, and I want to also and everything that's loss mitigation. I want to talk briefly about loan modifications because these forbearances are coming up due. We touched on them on Monday, how the banks are going back and forth. Attorney Garcia, talk to us about what you're seeing with the forbearances and what is a loan modification. You know, the other day in the Spanish show, we kept saying the word foreclosure. And she mentioned to us, the moderator, she didn't even know what foreclosures meant. Perhaps some of our viewers or listeners don't know what a loan modification is.
Right. Well, the loan modification was born or became very popular in the last real estate crisis. You know, we saw it, which began in, 07, 08, but you saw a lot of modifications, 9, 10, 11, 12, and out of that grew the MMM program in bankruptcy. So I'll tie in bankruptcy with it. The MMM program is the Mortgage Modification Mediation Program, and it allows an individual who has fallen behind on their mortgage to use the bankruptcy and what we call the automatic stay in the bankruptcy. The automatic stay is what places kind of a hold or a freeze on any attempts to collect against you, whether it be any assets of yours, on debts, anything like that, to hold it and to give you the opportunity to resolve those things in the bankruptcy court. That is beneficial with mortgages because now you can proceed with a loan mod inside of your bankruptcy, and that avoids foreclosures. So like we've discussed many times on the show, what is very important, these banks will file foreclosures against individuals, and the individuals think, oh, I'm working a loan mod, the foreclosure is not going to proceed. No, not true. These banks, they do dual tracking, okay? So they're foreclosing while they're allegedly trying to help you. So, and you know what happens most of the time? The foreclosure goes way more quickly than your loan mod. So your house is going to be sold before you get a response from the bank a lot of the time.
It's like on one hand they're massaging you, and the other hand they've got your hand in the pocket.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You know, and individuals think, oh, my bank's talking to me and it's fine with the foreclosure. No, it's not fine. They're proceeding. They have a different department. The bank, one hand of the bank doesn't know what the other hand's doing. So the loan mod department in the bank has no idea what the foreclosure department's doing. So it's of the utmost importance that if you're in that point, you have an attorney to help you on both ends. And if you're at the point where you say, listen, I don't want to do this from both ends, consolidate it. Try the bankruptcy because you can do the loan mod within your Chapter 13 and you can have a streamlined process it's much less stressful. It's easy to get your documents to the bank, and I think it's very beneficial for a lot of our clients.
I have a quick question for you. So interest rates now are at a very historical low. How does that affect the loan modification?
Well, that's a great question, actually. Now, and that's more along the lines in the refinancing. When we had HAMP wasn't renewed some years back, so HAMP modifications don't exist anymore. HAMP modifications actually dropped the interest rate down to 3%. And it was at 3% for a couple years, and then it would boost up, but they didn't go much over 4%. Banks aren't required to give HAMP modifications anymore, but a lot of banks did model their loan mods after the HAMP program and do take that into effect. Will it drop as low as an individual qualifying for refinance? I can't guess, and I'll never tell anyone for sure yes or no. But didn't we see a great interest rate with a VA loan, with the government-backed loan we did?
Of course, every case is different, but we did have a case in the office of a client who showed me a modification that he received from a veteran's loan on one of his properties. It's a VA loan, and they did, in addition to extend the payments out and extend the loan, the life of the loan, they did lower the interest rate to 3%. So again, every case is different, but that particular lender did take into consideration today's rates.
Right.
So.
1 or 2 points on a 30-year loan makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's right. Well, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. Consultation is free.
And, you know, because there's all these financial issues, it goes without saying that divorces are going through the roof. A lot of people have been stuck at home for many months, and even though a lot of us are starting to poke our head out like a groundhog, you know, just kind of poking out, seeing what's going on and starting to enter the world, the day-to-day, we've noticed, Attorney Silver, that divorces are through the roof. And to be fair, there are a lot of, at least at our office, there are a lot of mutually consensual, let's say amicable divorces, but there's a lot of divorces, correct?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I mean, look, with the pandemic, people are either falling in love and loving each other for life, or this is not working for them and they want out now. Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Well, good luck to them.
You look like you were thinking about that one.
Good luck to them. I'm like, luckily it's been okay for me. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen.
Very little middle ground during a pandemic, you know?
Okay, once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. We do have to take a quick commercial break, but we will be back with more on family and bankruptcy, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Is there anything that you want to say before we take a short break?
We're gonna come right back. I want to talk to Attorney Silver about how the finances are affecting divorces, and I'd like Attorney Garcia to explain to us a little bit more about the differences between a Chapter 7 and a Chapter 13, and how a bankruptcy can help you right now get out of your financial turmoil. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. It's Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. That means we're talking bankruptcy. We're sprinkling in a little family law, and we want to get right back into the conversation. But I do want to remind everyone that the show is live, so give us a call, 888-88-LEGAL.
That's right, Jackie. We're going to sprinkle in some family law right now because on yesterday's show, which was our family show, we discussed with Attorney Silver, and I'd love for you to expand a little more on this. We've all heard the term cheaper to keeper, right? It's cheaper to keeper. A lot of people stay in relationships simply because they don't want to have to give up half of their assets or whatever it is. And I've been very frank with you guys here, and I did get a call from my client. Perhaps he wasn't very happy about it, but of course we would never disclose names here. With that being said, I mean, some people plan their divorce out for many, many years prior to filing for the divorce.
Yeah,
I think that's the smartest thing you can do.
Even telling their
so
partner,
give me a call if that's what you want to do. We will strategize and plan out your divorce. With that being said, Attorney Silver, talk to me about how right now might be a good moment because of finances being down to file for divorce. Why?
Well, I want to first off, look.
Talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, if your income's suffering, if you're down in the gutter and you're perhaps have an alimony obligation, now could be a good time to file for divorce. But you mentioned one thing about cheaper to keeper, and one thing the law does provide and recognize is that when when one household becomes two, the standard of living basically decreases for both households. So if you guys are already, sitting in a situation where you're barely able to make ends meet, not making the bills, you're not going to be able to separate. You're going to be locked into one household because you're not going to want to, reduce your standard of living any further.
Right.
I don't know that I understood that.
Sure. Two people live in a very nice house.
Okay.
And if they get divorced, they're going to need two households, and the two households are not going to be as nice as that one household because the standard of living is decreasing when you break off. So yeah, it's sometimes when it's cheaper to keeper, it's a better situation to stay put in one household and suck it up for the benefit of your family.
Right, but I'm miserable.
It's cheaper to keep her financially, not emotionally.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Talk to us about why right now may be a good moment to file for divorce, Attorney Silver.
If your income is down, if you've lost your job, if times are bad, it could be a good time strategically to file for divorce. But like Jennifer said, talk to one of us about proper divorce planning, because really, if you shoot first and ask questions later, if you go file by yourself and then you retain us when things go bad, it's not going to be good for you. There are certain things that you can do prior to filing a petition for dissolution of marriage to make sure that you're not under a status quo order. There's all sorts of things that you can do to properly plan your divorce, so you should definitely talk to us before filing.
Thank you, Attorney Silver. 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you need to call for your free consultation.
And I'd like to touch upon what Attorney Silver was speaking about and related to bankruptcy. You should also prepare for the filing of your bankruptcy as well. That's of the utmost importance as well with the filing of your bankruptcy. You want to make sure your attorney, and we will do this for you. We perform our due diligence, not just you. We need to review your documents, review your spending habits. What have you done with your assets? How have you, yes, you're having a hardship now, but what have you done in the last year or two? So these are all things that I think are of the utmost importance when you're deciding to file bankruptcy as well. It's not something you should just jump into and file. I have clients who want to file right away. We need to file now. No, not until I do my due diligence. The worst thing in the world is filing a Chapter 7 petition without having thoroughly reviewed all the documents and knowing what could happen.
And for both of the attorneys on the panel, but especially Attorney Garcia, what happens when your clients are not honest with you from the beginning and you do all this due diligence and right before the filing, it turns out they have some extra income they just never told you because they didn't think it was important?
Well, whenever someone fails to disclose $6,000 worth of income, it completely throws off your means test. An individual qualifies based on the last 6 months of not only your income, your spouse's income when you're living together.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Your spouse's income. So if your spouse works, if your spouse doesn't work, if your spouse has retirement, money from the government, has a pension plan, works part-time, drives Uber, I don't care what your spouse does, the income's going to count. And not disclosing that right before all of your numbers have to be rewritten, and then you know what, a lot of times it pushes you out of that 7 and into a 13.
I'll tell you, in family court, it's the same thing holds true. So if you file a financial affidavit and then a financial affidavit is not accurate, you can basically, the other side can go open up the judgment again. I mean, we've seen cases where people have gone to court and the judges have scrutinized their financial affidavits where they have income that's not reported, assets or contingent assets that are not reported. And look, once you have an error like that on your financial affidavit, a judge can find that you're not credible. And if a judge finds you're not credible, there goes your family case.
And if that happens under the bankruptcy code, this is really important too, because if you lose the right to a discharge, you have a 727 action brought against you. And if that happens and the judge tells you you're not entitled to a discharge, you can never move to discharge those debts. You can't try again later. That's it.
That's it.
You're stuck. You're done with those debts. You can't have a do-over, So it's so important that everything's done properly at first.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Yes.
Thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. Okay, well, it is the last segment. We are coming at the end of the show, but I do want to remind everyone that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number to call. If you're watching us at home, Facebook, YouTube, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to our page. You never know who's going to benefit from the information, like I like to say. So thank you so very much for joining us today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'd like to leave everyone with these final words. As Attorney Silver and Attorney Garcia have shown you all week after week, it's so important to be well prepared, to have a good attorney on your side, because if you lose credibility in family court or if you lose your ability to discharge your debt in bankruptcy court, you may not have a chance to do a do-over. Once a judge thinks you're not credible, it's going to be extremely difficult to get that judge to think that you are in fact credible. And saying, I didn't know, may not work out best for you. So keep our number next to you. We're here to serve you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for tuning in.